Have you ever heard of a farewell party for a piece of software? It sounds a little weird, right? Well, that's exactly what we're diving into today. It's a celebration, but not for a birthday. It's a launch party, but for the very last version. This is the story of a software farewell, and trust me, it's more interesting than it sounds. And this quote from the event itself just nails the whole vibe. It was like a cheerful wake for a tool that was loved by this massive community. People got together not really to mourn, but to share stories about a product that was about to be frozen in time, completely on purpose. So, let's be super clear here. This wasn't an accident. It wasn't some catastrophic bug they couldn't fix. Nope. The company behind this powerful, totally free tool made a deliberate choice. No more development, no more updates. The version that dropped that day, that was it. The last one. Ever. And that right there is the big question, isn't it? On the surface, it just doesn't add up. You have this product with a huge active community, a tool that's running inside major corporations. So why on earth would you pull the plug? What's the business logic behind that? Well, to get to the bottom of it, you first have to understand the weird, complicated double life this software was living. Inside the company, the free community edition had this split personality. It was both their greatest asset and their biggest problem. Let's start with the friend side of the equation. According to a former sales team member, the free open-source version was the rocket fuel that powered the company's growth. It got their technology into huge companies, not through the front door with a fancy sales pitch, but through the back door, with developers who just loved it, tried it, and started building real things with it. But then, here's the twist. Another expert, a consultant who implemented this stuff for years, put it pretty bluntly. The free version was also the company's #1 competitor. Think about that. It was so powerful, so stable, that it often ended up cannibalizing sales of their own paid enterprise version. And this lays out that tension perfectly. On one hand, the free version was the ultimate door opener. It created this natural sales funnel. But on the other hand, it was such a powerful rival that major companies could use it for years without paying a dime because they could just support it themselves. It's a classic business dilemma, right? So with this internal conflict pretty much raging, the company had to make a choice. And that choice wasn't just about ending the old product. It was about committing 100% to a new one. This is really the key to the whole puzzle. Freezing Camunda 7 wasn't a punishment or some simple cost-cutting move. It was a massive strategic pivot. The company saw the entire industry was shifting, and they decided to build a whole new platform from the ground up to meet that future, even if it meant leaving their old, incredibly successful product behind. You can kind of see the journey here. It all kicked off in 2013 when the free version was born and built this huge following. A few years down the line, the paid version launched, and that's when that friend or foe dynamic really heated up. But then, the tech world changed. As the industry raced to the cloud, the company built Camunda 8, a completely new cloud-focused product that was fundamentally incompatible with the old one. And they couldn't just keep both running. The architectures were just worlds apart. One was old school, driven by a database, and the new one was modern and event-based. They were incompatible. You couldn't just move your work from 7 to 8. So supporting both meant doubling up on everything. 2 development teams, 2 product managers, 2 marketing strategies. It was a massive resource strain, and they had to place their bet. Okay, so that explains the why from the company's point of view, but what about the thousands of users out there in the real world? What happens to them when the software they depend on suddenly becomes a museum piece? For those users, a clock started ticking. I mean, sure, you have the final version and it works today, but the world around it keeps moving. The programming language it depends on, Java, gets updated. Soon, the version your software needs is no longer supported. Then, security vulnerabilities might crop up that will never, ever be patched. And all of a sudden, you're facing this huge decision. Do you migrate everything to a brand new platform, or do you take on the massive job of maintaining a completely frozen piece of technological history? And the scale of that problem is immense. It's not just about one little tool. To keep it running safely long-term, you'd have to freeze its entire ecosystem. We're talking your database, your server, everything it touches has to be locked in time with it. That is a huge commitment and a massive technical risk. But you know what? This story doesn't just end on a down note. Because during that farewell party, as people were sharing all these memories, something unexpected happened. The end of a product actually sparked the beginning of a whole new idea. The discussion started to shift from what was lost to what truly mattered in the first place. People began to realize that their connection wasn't just to a specific piece of software, but to a shared way of thinking. And this quote just sums it up perfectly.
The true spirit of the community wasn't about Camunda 7 versus Camunda 8 or free versus paid. It was about a passion for understanding and improving processes. And that's a mindset that transcends any single tool.
So out of that realization came this really cool idea, the Process Redder Champion, which basically means Process Savior Champion. It's this proposal for an award that's completely tool agnostic. It wouldn't honor someone for being good at a specific product, but for being a true evangelist of the process mindset itself. You know, the kind of person who sees workflows everywhere, even in the line at a bakery.
In the end, the retirement of Camunda 7 became a catalyst. It forced the community to ask what really bound them together. Was it the tool, or was it the shared passion? By choosing to celebrate the mindset over the software, they found a way for their spirit to live on. And it leaves us with this fascinating final thought. When a product dies, does its community have to die with it, or can it actually evolve into something new?